You're watching the Daily Rut, and I am Leo. This is a vlog that I just kind of do whatever I want. I just kind of talk about whatever subject that I kind of am into at the time, and I just go with whatever I feel like. Just, I mean, sometimes I might be going somewhere, sometimes I might be doing something, and other times I'll just be sitting around and kind of just like this. So when I do these vlogs, I like to have a subject usually, and I like to have like a theme that I want to stick to. Otherwise, I'll just ramble on and kind of go down rabbit holes and talk about things that I don't really need to talk about. So I thought for this one, I would talk about something that I kind of enjoy to think about or talk about, I guess. And that is, what is my best like idea of like the best thing I could imagine for living, like where I would rather be, what I would rather have, like the best thing, like where you want to live, the best thing that you would want to have for your best life. And I'm not saying that because I like Joel Osteen. So just off the top of my head, I always think of whenever I think of where I would like to be, because I'm not like Minnesota is a state I live in. I'm not a big fan of Minnesota. I don't really like the government here. I don't like how anything is run. They're kind of just, it's just not the best. But I'm not saying other states are better. Some states are even worse. But I'm not going to get into politics. But the point is, I'd rather live somewhere else. And if I was giving just the ability to just live wherever I want in the world, I probably wouldn't even live in America at all. I mean, to be honest, it's there's too much division in this country, and people just it's either left or right, and there's no other options, and people fight over this stuff that is so petty. People are just spoiled rotten here, and they just tend to be so petty and complain about every little thing on the internet because they have just too much time on their hands to complain about any little thing. And it's just that's a lot of negatives about America, but whatever. But the point is if I had my choice, I would probably live somewhere else in the world. And like in the past, I've gone to the Philippines, so of course people would probably who know me might think, well, he'd probably just go to the Philippines and live. I don't think I can own land in the Philippines though, so it'd be kind of hard for me to move to the Philippines and not have land or have a place where I can actually do my thing. So you can't just move to the Philippines. That's just not an option. You can't just hey, I'm just going to go and do this. I mean, I realize a lot of people in America think that there's this they have this privilege to be, to do whatever they want in the world and kind of travel wherever. Yes, but not every government's just going to give you land and say, "Here you go, you can live here because you're American." So, in my mind, I think of wherever I would be, wherever I would go, I just think it has to be in the countryside. I will never be happy living in a downtown in a city. I just can't. It's so annoying. It's so irritating. Too much stuff going on, too much noise, too much everything. It's just too much of everything. Too many people living too close together, complaining about how the world's overpopulated, even though they can't leave the city to find out that there's plenty of open space everywhere. And just too much of that. Just too many people just stuck together. And when you're living with your neighbor right next to you, of course, they're going to get on your nerves sometimes. I mean, where I live right now, my neighbors get on my nerves because they're right next to me, or not every, I don't hate my neighbors. I'm just saying that some neighbors can be annoying because of their so whatever and this, that, and the other thing. So my point is if I had my choice, I would live in the countryside, kind of away from neighbors. I'm not saying I want no neighbors anywhere within 100 miles. I'm saying that it's a good idea to just have some space. And if it was up to me, I would probably have a farm, probably something, a homestead maybe. I don't know. Not like a farm where you're actually making crops and just you're literally making food for the world type of thing. More or less like a space where I can grow enough food for myself and whatever family I have or whatever, and just kind of feed us and take care of us and whatever family is like close relatives or whatever, that type of thing. Which I think everyone should be able to do that, honestly. I really do. I think that more people should go out and farm and become their own caretakers instead of worrying about the government taking care of them, and all that. So that's just kind of how I think. I mean, I wore this shirt today just because of this kind of feeling that I get when I talk about this, because I just look at it as trust God, not government, because the government, they're not going to help you. They've done so much damage in the world that I don't know how anyone actually trusts the government ever for anything. They do more damage, they cause more harm to people just in bureaucracy alone. They slow everything down. They destroy everything that they touch practically. So I don't understand how people are just like, yep, let's trust the government to give us a check. I wouldn't trust them with my life, or anybody's life for that matter. But I would just say that I would rather be out in the countryside, able to build stuff. I like to build things like sheds. I like to build whatever, not just sheds, but I want to be able to have the ability to go out onto my property and just do whatever I want. Now, I know in America nobody actually owns any property. Now they think they do, but if they stop paying their land tax, what will happen? I'm waiting. Yeah, they won't have it. That's what will happen. So nobody actually owns any land here. They're just renting it from the government. So that's where I kind of have a problem. So if I was going to choose a place in the world, I would probably want to have a place where the government's not going to tax my land and tell me that I have to get off of it if I just don't pay my taxes, So that's an option that I think about if I'm going to choose a place where I would want to be. And down the road, I would assume that, well, I would like to, if I'm really going to tell you my dream of what I really want, is I envision obviously I envision having a wife, maybe some kids, like normal people think like this, and having a small like a farm, not a super big, massive amount of property, but enough to where it's very spacious. And I'm not going to say the size of the land, because there might be other people listening from other countries. And I know in like the Philippines, they have hectares, and in America we have acres. So it's kind of hard for me to express, like if I said I wanted 80 acres, what is that in hectares? Somebody in the Philippines is going to be wondering, well, what is that in hectares? They have to go on Google or something. But I would want that, and I would want to have like a good Christian wife that's there that I can rely on, that we can maybe homeschool children. This is all my dream, okay? This is not like I'm planning this today, because God knows it probably will never happen the way the world is going right now, because too many people want to destroy everything, and they don't want to rebuild. They don't want to build. They don't want to build a family. They don't want to build a life. And the reason the world is so messed up is because people have just let the TV control their mind and tell them that the world is collapsing, so you can't have a family. Which, in my mind, I had to reverse that. I had to actually mentally reverse that and go, wait, no, do the opposite of whatever the TV tells me, and that's probably the right way to go. So I always think, well, at least the vision I've always had. This is kind of the vision I've had for many, many years. And that is have a wife, some kids, not a lot of kids, and a farm, like a homestead, chickens, animals, some animals that basically I could slaughter if I need to, and I could eat. Chickens, because then I get eggs for free, and it's just kind of perpetual. As long as I'm feeding them, I get eggs. Maybe gardens that are like a lot of gardens, so I can maybe like turn them over and kind of just have a planting season around, type of thing. Well, and then also it'd be probably in a better, warmer environment. Not so much super hot, but not so much to where it's just going to be winter all the time either. So it would have to be like a good, comfortable place. in my mind, I kind of always come up on Tennessee for some reason. I don't know why. That's kind of the place that my mind seems to go to. I don't know why Tennessee, but it's like a place that's kind of like I have family in Florida, and I have family kind of in Minnesota, obviously, and then it's kind of like Tennessee is kind of in that space where I could get to my family in Florida fairly easily, but it's also not super insanely hot like Florida, you know. So and just there's just nice. It just looks nice there, I think. But if I was gonna say places that I like the looks of the most, that I really just love the idea of living there, but of course winter comes, and that is Montana, South Dakota. Those are places that I really like. There's a giant volcano though nearby, so if that ever goes off, we're kind of screwed. But in my mind, I just think maybe I would rather have an environment that's kind of just kind of this warm temperature, kind of not too hot, not too cold, but just kind of even season all through the seasons, kind of. So you could maybe think about planting, or you could cover your plants, and when it gets cold, something like that. But if I was going to live in the Philippines, I guess I'll have to say that because I have ties to the Philippines. So if I was going to live in the Philippines, though, I would probably choose the northern region, more up closer to Taiwan, because there's some mountain areas over there. And I wouldn't want to live in the mountains, but in a higher level, so that whenever the tsunamis and all that stuff come through, it might not be so bad, you know, like you're not going to get washed out. Now, there's a lot of rain that you can get there, and there's a lot of flooding that does happen. But if you're in a higher region, you might be better off, you know. Not saying so high that the winds are going to tear your house down and everything else, though. But just kind of a good area, you know, built on a solid, like, piece of land, you know, that's kind of flat but up higher. And I'm not talking about the rice terrace area where there's lots of rice terrace and you kind of, you know, that area is beautiful, but that's really high up, and it's really, I don't know. I just think of that. If I think about the Philippines and a place to live, that's kind of what I think about. Not sure if I'll ever live there. I don't know if I could ever pull it off, if that was ever possible. I would have to have a wife there, obviously, because you have to be married to somebody to have this certain kind of visa where the foreigner can be living there as an expat or whatever with his wife. So there's that, but that's whatever. I just think that because originally the reason why I say the Philippines, because originally I had planned this, or I wanted this years ago when I had my Filipino wife, and had this vision or whatever, because I don't know, we didn't have kids, so I was just thinking I would adopt some street kids, or like some kids or whatever, and kind of teach them, you know, and take care of them, and or whatever. Maybe, but adopt them. You know, you can do that a little bit easier over there, I think. And so I kind of had this vision. It was almost like a dream in my head of me raising animals there and just kind of having this farm type of area. That would be a dream, really. But yeah, this is just some stuff I think about. I don't know. I just thought I'd put it in a vlog, I guess. Just kind of give my thoughts and kind of just tell you what I think, how I am. Because where I live right now, I'm not connected or tied to this area. I don't feel like I need to be here the rest of my life. I mean, if it's not for my dogs, I would probably be able to get up and just go and do whatever I need to, you know. I mean, there is the thought, of course, in my mind sometimes that if I could ever get, like some of these YouTubers, they get paid for their videos and they kind of make a good living. And if I could just do that, maybe do vlogs for a living and kind of live off that, then I wouldn't have to be tied to a workplace, and I would actually be able to just pick up my computer and my stuff and just go somewhere and just kind of vlog along the way. That's kind of a thing that I thought of too. So, but that takes a little while, it takes a lot of time, and there's just a lot of people doing that. So I don't know how popular I would be. I'm not the best speaker. I'm not the best anything. But in fact, I started this off mainly just because it's kind of like therapy for me in this period where I'm just kind of living alone, just with the dogs, you know. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. But I don't want to make this vlog super long. I tend to ramble on, so I just need to cut that down. But tell me what you think about this. What kind of places in the world are best to live? Where would you live if you got your dream, like your dream to come true? What would you actually want to do to live? Where would you live? You know, and what would your life be like? You know, if you got to actually have money to go and do these things, you know? And that's the other thing is money. You got to worry about money too. You got to have money to do these things. So that's another thing. I'm not the richest guy in the world either. So, but tell me what you think in the comment section, and I just want to know what other people are thinking. So that's pretty much it, and I don't want to like go on and on and on. This is already getting kind of long. So thank you for checking out my vlog, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching The Daily Rut. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy this vlog.